and welcome to Gigantic Interview brought to you by GGUnleashed.com. Hello, community. Hello, viewers. Hello to Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Clint. How are you guys?
Glad to be here. What's going on?
Well, we're doing an interview, and you're helping, so
That's true.
that's true. We are interviewing the one and only Mr. Clint. Your online tag is Malcor or Malcori something?
Keep trying. Keep trying.
Malchor?
Close. Do the CH as a K. I think you got it.
Malquire Devon.
Malquire.
No.
No.
Justin,
He's
you
a
should
singer.
know this.
He's a singer.
Yes, but
He's a singer.
yes, but you should
See,
know this. You've
Mal-
known me long enough.
Mal means bad. Choir. It's
F
a bad
you, Justin.
choir.
That's awesome. All right. Well,
Malchior.
Malchior. Okay. Well, that's not even phonetic, but that's fine. You know, English language. That's whatever. English is hard, apparently. So you played Gigantic at PAX,
Yes.
and we're all pretty jealous of that. And I'm jealous. Ken, are you jealous?
I gotta be a little jelly here. I mean,
just a bit jelly. Yeah, I just a bit of jelly on my tea and crumpets. Yes, sir. I'm not sure where that came from, but that's okay. As my wife texts me right in the middle, which is awesome. All right. And so there is a lot of hype surrounding this game and a lot of just awesome stuff. The developers are Motiga Studios, and they have done pretty much one of the best, I guess, open advertisements for this game that we've seen from an indie company and probably in the history of forever, probably like next to. I'm trying to think of a good example. Ken, can you think of a good example that kind of like rivals what they're doing with their community?
it's kind of hard. I mean, they're open to us.
Yeah, like the amount of honesty and openness that they have with the community is. It's like the president coming down from the White House and be like, everyone can come in. Please enjoy the festivities in the bowling alley.
I got an idea. Here, think ESSO's communication and then look at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. There we go.
Oh, man. So, Clint, I have to ask, as your webcam freezes at just the correct opportune moment, why don't you go ahead and turn it off and turn it back on to try and refresh that. Hopefully he didn't drop from the call either. That would be good. And Clint, what was your overall impressions of the devs in person, and were you hugged at all?
I was hugged quite a bit because I'm somewhat of a hugger myself.
Nice.
Yes, they're definitely very open, as you guys state. They want to get to know the people of their game first because they know it'll be the people that'll make the game.
Right, right.
And
Okay.
so with
All
that,
right.
they were always asking questions of us. Usually you would think, oh, we'll ask you all the questions. You're the one who had this game that just came out of like the darkness within the last week. No, they're asking you the questions. They want to find out what you think. Did you have fun playing the game? What would you do differently?
Okay. Now, have you been able, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say have been. You were able to really kind of talk with some of the actual creators and stuff. How did that change your perspective on the game?
I was first just interested in the game for it. First off, I was interested in the game just because I had a few of my previous ANET friends there. And I was like, oh, hey, this is pretty cool. Let me see what they're doing. And then I saw the art, and it's like, this is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
And then I saw some of the mechanics and character design. I'm like, this is gorgeous.
Mhm.
Then I played it, and it's like, I can't hardly play any other games now. I've been like kind of just playing maybe 2 or 3 rounds of Smite a night now that I'm back home.
Just to get your fix.
And that's all I just to get a kind of similar feel. And that's all I can get. I can't play anything else.
Have you found anything other than Smite that kind of relates to the game? Like in other games, like have you like tried a first person shooter and was like, hey, this is kind of like the game because it has that.
Oh, it's definitely Team Fortress 2, just
Okay.
with
Okay.
fantasy set.
All right. Ken, I know you had a couple of questions, so why don't you shoot them off?
I mean, I don't know. My first question to you is just, what was the experience? You were there day one. What was the experience day one, or the first time you went there, shut up at the game? What was the first thing that happened when you were in line with people? Were there other people around you talking about? Did the devs come up to you and talk to you all of a sudden? It's like, what happened in that first experience with Gigantic?
They had like 2 or 3 devs on each side. There were 20 stations total. So there were 2 teams of 5 playing all the time. So there's like maybe
Gigantic.
2 devs coaching the 2 teams on one side and 2 devs coaching the 2 teams on the other side. And throughout the day, the devs sort of had this competition, like, "Ha, my team won over yours," and they started getting really into their coaching
Mm-hmm.
and started getting real hyped about that. First thing I showed up, I kind of ignored the line, went straight over to Allie and gave her a giant hug because I
Oh
know
yeah. Uh-huh.
Allie really well from Guild Wars. And then she pointed me out to Vince, who is another person who was previously with the Guild Wars 2 team. So I went and talked up with Vince for a bit, and then I got in line. The line was a lot shorter on day one.
Really?
They had this like snaking blue Motiga tape,
Okay.
and it can probably hold about 20, 30 people if they got in tight. So essentially, once one team finished, you're already halfway to get into your play session. So you were usually playing within like 30 minutes to an hour at tops.
Wow. So the hype train just completely exploded after day one then.
Yeah, by day one, that blue line started getting backed up just a little bit, and people started extending, and it was like, I'm running out of room here. By day 3, they had added a yellow tape that like went all the way back in a straight line to one of the escalators. By day 4, they had to use an enforcer to cap the line because people were taking up too much room.
That's amazing. That's awesome. A Pax Prime Enforcer. Sorry, sir, you have to move to the back of the line. But I just want to play. I just want to play. No, sir, you have to move to the back of the line.
It sounds like it was just a great experience just from that perspective. Were the people in there just like facial expressions, just excited, ready to play, wanting to jump in, trying to cut people? It's like
I don't think there was any cutting. Everyone was kind of respectful because we could
We
see.
have a good community,
Oh, hey,
Ken.
hey, if they take off 10 people at a time, it doesn't really matter if I
Right.
cut.
Mm-hmm.
But you could, yeah, we're all like one team's like against the wall, but the other team's facing out, so you could easily see like up to 10 screens at a time. And so you're trying to scan the characters. Which character do I want to play? And it's like, how does this UI work? And then most of it's like, oh my gosh, geez, crap, this game looks so freaking good.
So in terms of characters, now they're called heroes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So which hero was your favorite?
It's a toss-up between Zenobia and Uncle Spin.
Okay. So now, what are those two characters, and what do they do?
Zenobia is like a control character. She's control with like a side role of mage. She uses darkness and curses to debuff players, but at the same time, she also has life drain on her auto attack. So long as you don't get jumped by one of the assassins, like Trip or Taito, you can just about kite anyone and eventually win a fight. Eventually win a one-on-one with just about anyone.
So is she
Dang.
broken then?
Hard to tell right now.
Oh, come on, you had to have some balance thought. What was let's ask this question then. Who did you hate to fight the most?
The sniper,
Against?
Imani.
Because you couldn't reach her? Is that why?
they admitted in one of the character design panels, it's like, we just got Amani in. She hasn't even had first pass yet, so yeah, she's OP. And
No,
every
that's
single
awesome.
person that fought her agreed. If you go back and listen to the character live stream panel, you'll hear the audible groans and cries of despair from the crowd whenever they revealed Imani. And it's
That's
like, and our
funny.
second character is Imani. She's the sniper. She's got this giant kind of collar thing, like she's recon. And I'm like, kill the collar.
The gun that she has in the screenshot is just ridiculous. Now, to my understanding, it gets bigger or something because they said about in the live stream like it opens up. So like
Yeah, has like
explain that.
it has a stow animation where like the spindles or whatever, the wings of the crossbow are like folded in and it just goes on her back. And then
So
when she whips the thing out, it opens up into like its crossbow rifle format.
my gosh. So it's an
I ain't
anime
even
weapon
kidding.
basically. It's like 4 times the size of her body, but she's able to hold it with one hand, right? I mean, it's just like anime.
Does she hold it with one hand?
I don't know. I'm just speculating off of what anime people do. Like Cloud in Sephiroth has, the 8
She
foot
does
long
use
sword.
2 hands, probably just for steady aim.
Okay.
That would be awesome though.
She probably
One-handed.
She probably could take one in each hand and totally Dante this crap up.
Just have her jump up on a ridge, grab on with her hand, hold the rifle out with the other, and just start taking people out.
Don't you hate when movies do that where they're like, I'm going to shoot this shotgun with my bare hand, and it's just like, that's a 12-gauge shotgun that would recoil and hit you in the face, but hey, it's fine. Oh, well.
Movies.
I know, right? Movie logic or Nintendo logic, whatever you want to call it. Ken, you had a couple more questions.
I mean, I'm really just interested in kind of. We're obviously here for your overall experience. Imani was someone you didn't like going up against. Did you find anybody easy to take down? Like that was just like, okay, I can see. I knew who to target. Did you learn who to target more specifically, or was there anything complicated with that issue? Trying to figure out who to fight against.
That really, really depended on the player. It was usually easy to take down HK206 or Voden. HK because like he has his bombarding missiles and such, and he has his chain gun. But most new people, they read like, oh, he can fortify and gain increased like armor. I'm just gonna stand here and shoot. And I was like, okay, I'll just circle strafe you and you'll never hit me.
I think we will adjust that though, right?
It really depends on who the player was, because there were a lot of bad assassins, a lot of bad Taitos and trips. And then there was this time where after one of the panels, I played against Joe Peacock, one of the developers.
Oh, man.
And he went 28-0.
Oh, my gosh. Holy crap.
He's like,
There
let me
was
show
a
you how
time
it's done.
I was playing Lord Gnosis, and apparently playing him wrong, as I found out later that night. But
Nice.
near the end of the game, Joe, I don't know what level he was. He had to be somewhere much higher level than me.
That's
if it wasn't
crazy.
a one-shot, it was a two-shot, but I swear it felt like a one-shot because
Wow.
he took my bull butt. We're up like at the top near the Clash arena. The Clash is about to start.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to be ready to go. I'm going to like go ahead and cap some of the early points before they get here. I'm going to go. I didn't even look away from the screen. My butt is flying off the arena.
Nice.
And when I'm like, what the heck? And Joe's like,
Now, you said he was much higher level than you. Is he like 15 and you're 10 or something, or what is the level system in the game?
the max level is 10.
Okay.
Oh,
If I was doing bad, I had to say I was probably level 5. Joe might have been 7 or 8.
Okay.
Right as you hit like 5.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's around 5.5 to level 6. It slows down significantly. It gets much harder to get levels right around kind of 5-ish, just from the EXP curve. And then when the actual clash begins at 10 minutes or no, 15 minutes or the final wound point,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't spawn creatures anymore, you've lost that as an XP source.
Okay.
So people who might come over from League of Legends or Dota or Heroes or Smite or whatever other game, 10 levels? Like they're used to 20 and stuff like that or more levels. How did that feel? Just like you only got 10 levels to do stuff. I mean, does that correlate with anything else in the game as well, like skill points or something?
Yes, yeah, because 10 levels you only get 10 ability points. And the way that works is League, Smite, Dota, they all give you like, except Dota, where you can also up your attributes. Smite and League, you were always upping your skills, which is essentially just upping their power,
Right.
like passively through the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There is
okay.
none of that in Gigantic. You can up your base stats at the bottom. You can say, I want to do 10% more damage, or I want 25% more stamina. But most often, you're going to put these into your skills, and it doesn't give them like extra base numbers. Not often, at least. It most often just makes them more versatile. It gives them more utility. It's like this skill that used to snare, now it stuns. When you charge this skill to full, instead of just doing full damage, now it also interrupts. This skill that used to be a leap skill, now it also drops an AoE on the ground.
Interesting. Okay, so it's a lot more leveling the actual mechanics of your character than rather leveling like your agility or your strength. So
Yes.
that really tells me that the way that the actually Greg just kind of said it in chat was skill augmentation. And that's actually a really clever way to go, especially in a quote-unquote MOBA game. It's not really a MOBA because we need to come up for some like better terminology for that because it's not really a MOBA. I mean, it technically is because it's a multiplayer
if MOBA
online
went
battle
by
arena.
its original term that didn't mean pushing lanes, this would be great because it's
Right.
a multiplayer online
Battle arena.
battle arena.
Right.
But now MOBA has meant pushing lanes, gaining progression, farming gold, and crap. Like
Damn it, Ryan! Why'd you have to just push that term on everybody? You
the new
jerks.
term should be like just
Gigantic. That's
yes.
a genre. It's a genre now
Such
and a game.
Such a
But this will
cop-out.
spawn a new genre. TF2 kind of had this for a while, and they held on to it for a long time until Valve got a little crazy in the head and tried to cover it up with hats.
hey, you want to know what? I mean, I've heard that the game definitely is very, very comparable to TF2. They said so in the player reactions. How has the art impacted the game for you? Was it really difficult to see the combat and the abilities go off and when characters were casting?
Not at all.
Awesome.
Every freaking animation in this game is so gorgeous and detailed. It's really good. That's part of what makes the game stand out because before you know any of the mechanics, before you touch the game at all, you can look at this thing, whether you are a casual gamer. If you're a casual gamer, you might think, "Oh, pretty." Nothing against any of the casual gamers. If you're like a veteran gamer, you can see the amount of polish they did to this art aesthetic and to every single one of their animations. It is freaking gorgeous. It's probably one of the most beautifully designed games I've ever seen.
So in terms of that, then, is it? I mean, obviously this was a pre-alpha / PAX build, whatever you want to call it.
Doesn't show it.
So it really doesn't feel like an alpha build, huh?
If they fixed all the bugs that were in the current system, got the matchmaking working, whatever it may be, and maybe designed a little bit of in-game stuff, just progression. People like progression.
Right.
This thing could ship tomorrow.
Wow, that's crazy.
It looks that good. It feels that good. All they would have to do is maybe balance Amani a bit, but she's the only one that felt I don't really have much of a chance.
Interesting. Now, that actually brings up another thing I wanted to ask. Is okay, so let me try and rephrase this in a way that makes sense. The ranged characters in a lot of games have usually a distinct advantage over the melee characters. Like in Smite, ranged characters with escapes and stuff were just broken as all get out, and pretty much was like, "Oh, I made a mistake. That's okay. I'll just leap out." Or in Dota, a lot of the ranged characters have a lot of good CC and a lot of good burst. Was this the case in Gigantic, or did the ranged characters, you know, the ones that you played, did they feel at a advantage over the melee characters, or was there a very good balance between that?
It really, really depended on the player
Okay.
because this game is so fast in its movement. It feels, if it's not equivalent to TF2, then it's slightly faster. And think how fast that game moved and how you had to hit all your shots in there. Or like freaking Counter-Strike. It feels like that precise in its movement and how fast you have to aim.
Wow.
So those range characters, they still have to hit you. And the thing with range, it's like any kind of first-person shooter. If you can hit it, or if you can see it, you can hit it. At least right now, there is no cap of range in the game at all. The only cap is line of sight.
Interesting.
Projectiles and stuff still have travel time, which allows you to dodge it.
Ooh, high level skill sniping.
But
Right? I don't know.
but yeah, that's one reason Amani was so good. If you found a good spot up high, or if they're trying to charge into your Guardian, it's kind of a straight shot. There are some passages off to the side, but you got to do some tricky super jumps to get up there.
Okay.
Straight shot, you have to go down this corridor, and she's kind of sitting up on this bridge. It's kind of just, you're sitting up.
Okay, so Greg says in chat, some projectiles will let gravity take over after they reach their maximum range,
Yes.
Like Roland's grappling hook.
That is okay. That is
That's
the
awesome.
only exception. The only exception. The only projectile that doesn't follow range. That, as far as I know, unless Greg knows different than me, which he's the developer. Uncle Sven, all of his potions, they're like grenades, so they all pay respect to gravity. To hit a target further away, you have to aim it higher up so that you arc. But with that
awesome.
with the arc, Sven doesn't need line of sight. There were several times when I was playing Sven, I knew we had pushed them really far. They were kind of falling back to defend to get ready because our Guardian was charging up power. I was standing on a point a little further away. I don't have vision to any of them, but I can see my Guardian's attacks. So it's like they're in his range. They could be here, and I throw some potions up there. And then I don't know if I hit or not, except that I see the burning that I added to one of my potions ticking on 4 targets. So like, all right, they got in the splash radius, they're burning now. I can just keep lobbing stuff.
Wow.
So you talked about height just a moment ago, and we know we saw it in the streams over the weekend. They talked about gigantic verticality.
Right.
How much did that play into the part of the game, that vertical movement in the game of being up higher or lower? Or, like, how much did that make a difference to your play style, to your gameplay?
It definitely depends on the hero. Some heroes have super jumps or leaps. The height, it doesn't, it's not like we're ascending some tower or anything, but when you can like get above someone and you can get a jump on them, it doesn't range, caster, whatever. If you can get a jump on someone, that's huge. Because about the only character that seems to live long in this game, the only character that seems to have a lot of armor or health is Margrave. All the others, you're pretty squishy.
So is the time to kill good, or do you think it could be changed a little bit?
Oh, it needs to be fast. It needs to be fast
Okay.
for this kind of
Okay.
game. The thing is, the respawn timers are so low. During the first 5 minutes of the game, maybe even longer, you literally might spend a max of 5 to 8 seconds on a respawn timer. That's it.
Oh my gosh. That's nuts.
It's literally like TF2. Because TF2, you usually like you get blasted over and over
That's true.
again. You might be on like a 5 to 10 second respawn timer, and then you're back in it because it feels like you're throwing bodies at that minecart to get it to move for the payload.
See, I never played the minecart one. I just played deathmatch and killed everybody.
I freaking love payload.
Now, we keep ignoring these big things on this map, these gigantic monsters on both ends. What are those in the game? Like, what do they do and how do they play into the match?
Those are the Guardians. That is the core objective of the game, to defeat the enemy Guardian. Each Guardian has 3 wound points, which are kind of the attack and defend phases. As you get kills around the map and as you gain map power for controlling a number of points on the map. I don't even think you have to control more than the enemy because they just like tick up the same time as you. So you control points, you get kills, you charge up your Guardian's meter. When it gets to full, it charges across the battlefield, changing the battlefield. Like it might put a giant footprint here or something, and now this part of the ground raises up and this part of the ground lowers. When it crosses the river, it's going to break the enemy's balcony, where sometimes the snipers like to hide out.
Nice.
And with that broken balcony, it becomes like a rubble bridge that your guys can use to quickly cross up into the enemy's area without taking like the curving road. And so then your Guardian chop all the way to the other side. There's no way to stop it. It's going to happen. And so the common strategy was get the hell back to our base or somewhere near it.
Right.
Don't let anyone behind us.
Hmm.
And so it smacks the other Guardian and knocks it prone, and now its weak spot is exposed. The players rush to that weak spot as quick as they can because this is just a brief moment of opportunity, and they do as much damage as they can. If they can remove 1 wound, then the Guardian immediately recovers and everything is kind of reset. You can only remove a maximum of 1 wound at a time.
Okay, now you're saying wounds and their vulnerable point. Their vulnerable point is that little dot of light that we've seen in the gameplay videos, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then the wound, is there like a number limit to the HP? Like, do we know that, or is it just kind of like bar for bar?
It's bars right now. We don't know how the bar correlates to actual numbers right now.
Okay, interesting. All right.
So, from the point of this game, like one thing I was worried about is that this game would just be like a team deathmatch, which sounded kind of boring. But from what you're describing it and from what we've seen, it looks more like it's like a capture and defend points with the addition of defend and destroy the primary objectives. I mean, is that kind of the feeling you get? Is like there's just these multiple modes inside this one map, that game that you're playing, or
Up to the first 15 minutes, it's like capture and defend and team deathmatch because it's all killing and owning points adds to the Guardian's power meter, which is your ultimate objective because that's what gets him charging, and so you can go attack the wound.
so what's at 15 minutes then?
At 15 minutes, or when any Guardian reaches 1 wound point, so they're at their last, the clash begins.
Do you know how many wound points each Guardian has?
3.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was a large thunderclap.
3 apiece, so at 15 minutes, or when either one reaches 1, the clash begins. Any of the summoned creatures get teleported into this arena. That is about probably a fourth of the size of the map you've currently been playing on.
Okay.
And there's still some obstacles. There's still some secret tunnels. Each side actually has like an overlook.
Okay.
Really good for snipers. I hate them. But the Guardians now, they're like really close. Where before, all right, we had this giant ass map or something. One's all over here, one's all over here. Now we're shrunk to something a quarter of that size. The Guardians are literally within like 4 links of each other.
Oh wow.
They take like 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whack. And so this becomes like the team deathmatch.
I'm
part.
sorry. I'm sorry. Could you do that one more time? I missed it.
Whack.
There you go. There we go. Thanks, I appreciate it.
So this is essentially the team deathmatch part. At this point, you can still kill Guardians for map control and for points, but there is no more recapturing of areas. If a creature dies, it dies. That's it. It's done. You lost whatever bonus it gave your team.
Wow.
And so once all the creatures are dead, the only way to get Guardian power now is to kill the other team.
That's awesome.
Or there is one other thing that they did not mention often because it's risky as heck and they didn't want first timers trying this. You can siphon power from the enemy's Guardian by hitting its weak point even while it's not stunned.
So can the Guardian fight back?
Oh yeah, it'll fight back and it'll kill you in like just 2 or 3 hits, very easily.
Well,
not
OP.
only like you have to be semi close to do this too. You can't just snipe it from halfway across the map
so
like
sniping
snipers
does not
do.
work. Okay. All
Not
right.
not for power stealing. You have to get. It's hard to describe range, but semi close, like within even a ranged auto attack range. Which ain't much if you ain't played the game yet. But you got to put yourself in risk. You have to be within the Guardian's actual attack range. So this sucker is going to be, if you're like fighting against the Griffin, he's going to be hurling tornadoes at you, and they can do crazy damage and knock you a crazy heck ways back. And I swear I took some kind of contact damage when that bugger knocked me against the wall once. I can't confirm that.
So you're
But
saying
I know I saw my health bar tick twice.
you're saying that there might be collision damage then, with the Guardian and then
There
him,
might be.
okay.
I don't know.
That's cool.
That's
I mean,
correct.
if that's in the game, that's actually a really kind of a detailed thing.
See, that's what I want.
Yeah.
There's enough stuff on these maps to collide with. You could make that a hero's skill. You can make a new hero off of that.
Interesting. You know what like Ken, it sounds like this game is really, really catered towards esports. I don't know why. It really has that hyper competitive kind of feel to it. You and me are kind of the whole big into esports. We both did Smite for a long time till they screwed it up and we left. But it's really encouraging to see that the developers want to support that style of community. Clint, what was your overall impression when it came to going up against a team that was equally skilled as you? Did you feel that the game was extremely well balanced then, or did the game still have balance issues?
The only thing that needs to be looked at balance is like Imani because she ain't had it yet.
Okay.
But
okay. Now,
aside from that, all the games are really close. This is such a beautiful part of the game's design because after you have removed a wound or something and the enemy is still holding on to like their power bar that they had. Now, if you had any excess, it can act as a shield for a brief second while they come in and do damage to the wound. But usually their power is now reset to about like half, and yours is now fully exhausted because your Guardian has already made a giant charge. So now they are ahead of you for the next phase.
Interesting.
If they operate just a little bit as a team, just a little bit coordination for a brief comeback, because you don't have to come back from a 20 death deficit like other MOBAs. You only have to come back enough to get your meter maxed, so your Guardian can charge.
So you
So against people with even skill, like just about every single fight on the show floor, it was going like 3, and then 2, and then 2, and then 1, clash, and then 1. And then we got this 1-on-1 deal at the very end, and both sides are super intense now. Several times I saw where it was just about to end, and the Guardian flies up with what doesn't even look like a pixel on the screen of health left.
Mm-hmm. So, okay.
Everything was on edge. We commented about one of the matches in the panels, me and James, because we were both just like gritting our teeth. It was so close, one of the press matches. Because that happened like twice to each team.
Okay, so from a Ken, I have one more question, and then I'll let you go. From even a casual side, the game was actually pretty balanced. Then, in your opinion, like it was very clear that even casual versus casual is going to have an enjoyable time and not get raffle stomped.
It oozes excitement.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Ken, go ahead.
So you said the matches is pretty close, and I'm wondering, most games have a catch-up mechanic they try to do in order to keep that even, so you don't get too rolling down a hill on somebody and things. It sounds like the 10 level max in this game might actually assist with preventing that huge gap between players, and that sounds awesome. And that thinking that they did that, which is great. But I'm also wondering, from a competitive scene or even from streamers' viewpoint, for people who are going to stream, the game has to look great and be able to easy to follow. Could you watch somebody else play and actually understand everything they were doing just from watching without somebody commenting on it?
Yes, because like I said before, the animations are gorgeous, but it would be very difficult for a first-timer to watch Joe play his trip and go 28-0 and understand how the freaking heck is he moving so fast? How is he everywhere on the field?
Well,
what
that's
is he
going to be
doing
normal in every
different?
game, though.
What is he doing different that these other people aren't doing?
Okay, interesting.
On that note, like the spectator mode that they do, it has to be some kind of bird's eye view thing. You have to be able to see everything.
I was just thinking about that. I mean, it's going to have to be some sort of in between.
Free camera.
It has to be free camera. I think it needs to do what Guild Wars 2 did, is have set fixed camera points, but allow you to go into that free camera mode, which is what Smite did when it first had a spectator mode. Which, it's funny. Gigantic will have spectator mode before League of Legends. Wow.
We'll have replays.
Yeah, replays. It's just, oh man, I think that Clint, the way that you've described the game is really, I think, what we've all been looking for a long time when it comes to a competitive game that everyone can play and enjoy, and not just, I'm going to play Counter-Strike, but I haven't played it in 2.5 years. Let me go 1-17 for the next 4.5 months until I understand the game again. I mean, it's
so easy to do.
I mean,
hold on.
Yes.
Greg, Emma Balto, Greg just told us in chat that it's not free. You have to pay $5 every time you use the camera.
Hey, they got to make money somehow. Microtransaction cameras, new to the gaming universe. They're going to make billions. So, I mean, it sounds like that the game is pretty much catered to everybody, and I think that is something that's really important to point out, because if we look at it from a pure casual, and casual is such a stupid term, and so is hardcore, because hardcore simply means you have way more time than the other guy to play. It doesn't mean it's difficult. Yep. It doesn't mean it's too hard for the other person. It just means you have more time. So, at heart, we're all casual gamers.
Dedicated. Let's use that.
Yeah, dedicated. There we go. So we have our weekend gamers, we have our dedicated gamers, and I think that if Gigantic can bridge that community, like you're saying it can, I think that this probably is the next step in gaming evolution. And that sounds really weird and kind of stupid and cheesy, but I really do think that they have something really special here. Just based on your feedback alone, is you were you were going into the game going, okay, this looks okay, I guess whatever, and then you came out going, oh my gosh, it's amazing, everyone should play it. So I think that it's a really cool kind of experience, kind of listening to your feedback. Ken, do you have any other questions for him?
I guess my final question is just at the end of the PAX event, what was probably your favorite thing overall the whole time you were there? Regarding
Gigantic related?
Yeah.
Gigantic related, Motiga related, yeah, which out of those two?
Meeting Greg was pretty cool.
Oh, you kiss
But
ass.
no, my favorite thing probably had to be like I said. Okay, so here's how the secret deal worked.
Oh yes, the secret meeting thingy party.
No, not even that, but that was cool too. It was all right. So they had the 20 stations like in the annex next to the Intel free play area.
Okay.
They also had 10 press stations in the Sheraton where the press were playing the game and doing their reviews and stuff. The thing is, getting 10 people when only like maybe 1 or 2 journalists comes at a time,
Of course.
is kind of difficult. They had some Motiga staff jump on, and they had some people that were helping them, the OMG I'm drunk guys, helping them and jump on. Hey, they're great guys.
Oh, of course. Yes,
and
they
gals.
are. Yes, they are.
They're great guys and gals. So they would jump on and fill the stations, and they'd be like, oh, there's still one left. And so if you're just sitting around waiting for a panel to begin just because you don't really have anywhere else to be, I'll jump on.
Nice. That's cool.
And so that's how I got to play the game about 8 times.
Nice. That's not fair. I want to play. Oh well.
But in doing that, one time when the panel was over and there was no press, it was like, all right, guys, we got that special party thing in a couple hours. You guys are just kind of free to chill here. We'll see if any press come along. If they come along, please get off the station so the press can play their games. But aside from that, you guys can just hang out here if you want.
That's awesome.
James is like, I want to get a couple games in before the press comes in. And so James, Joe, I think John Hargrove, like several of the devs. I think there was only like 2 or 3 of us players. So it was like dev player team versus dev player team.
That's awesome.
So I got James shouting instructions in my ear. I got Joe screaming about how he's killing people on the other side.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was. There is a new level of skill when you watch the devs play.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they
word.
know all the exploits and all the little cheats and that kind of stuff. And of course, they have their dev hacks, so
They weren't using the dev hacks. They don't need to.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to play. It just sounds so fun. Well, Clint, I do appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us about your experiences with the game and at PAX. And Ken, I appreciate you helping out doing the interview. And
Awesome.
Clint, you have a Twitter handle we can plug?
Yes, at Malchior Devon.
All right.
I know it sounds kind of weird. Maybe you can spell it? Is it up there?
It is up there, but I wanted you to say it anyway. So,
That's good.
any other social media sites that you wish people to follow you on or stalk you? One of the two.
I mean, I'm all over on Facebook, but I don't Facebook often. It's mostly just my Twitter.
Okay.
I kind of tried to get into streaming and then found out
It's a
this is a
popularity
lot
contest
more
and-
effort
yeah.
and time
Yep.
than I have.
If you're not Tally, you can't do anything. So, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ken, what are your social media websites?
You got me at Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, JK Kennedy TV.
All right. All very simple, all very easy. Of course, anything social for me is at Bazille. Literally, it's everything. I think there's like 1 or 2 social medias that's like not me because some jerk was like, I'm going to take it and never use it. I was like, okay, fine. Like in
How's that?
What?
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
How does that say Bazil?
I know,
It
right?
literally says Basilio.
It's Hebrew.
And I laugh every single time someone mispronounces your name because it's so easy to read.
It's Hebrew. That's why. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It doesn't read like English. It reads like Hebrew.
Okay.
But no, the story I was going to say is my League of Legends handle is Bazil SC because someone took Bazil. I was like, this hasn't happened to me in like ever. So that's that, and I think Tumblr is the one thing, or the two like social / gaming sites that someone has taken my name. I don't understand how that. Funny, Greg. Funny. Don't forget you can follow the Gigantic game itself at Go Gigantic. Also, Motiga Studios has their own Twitter feed as well at Motiga Games. The website is www.gogigantic. Wow. GoGigantic.com. GG Unleashed is an excellent community website for all the fans in the communities that we're all kind of gathering together and kind of I think kind of making that our hub home there, and just kind of making sure that the community kind of branches off from there and people are starting their own things after they've kind of been in there. So ggunleashed.com. Also the Reddit is just r/gigantic, I believe, if I remember right.
Yes.
And yeah, but this will be VODed, so it'll be up on GG Unleashed website probably by Saturday or Monday, depending if the video gets flagged or not, because Twitch is awesome, and I have the rights to the music, but they'll probably flag it anyway, so that's okay. But thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate Greg in the stream and the rest of the viewers. Thank you for hanging out with us. And that's it. That's all. God bless everybody. Take care. See ya.